We're finally to the last section of this page here, and as we've built everything else out, of course we did need to know quite a bit about pseudo-elements and CSS grid, but with that knowledge, everything has been pretty straightforward. I thought this section might end up being the easiest of them all, and even considered skipping this video altogether, but this turned out to be one of the more tricky sections to build out. If you've been following along in this series, you'll know that all of this started with me just trying to exercise my design muscles a bit and redesign one of my pages using a completely different style that I wasn't used to. However, going through this series and actually building all this out inside GenerateBlocks has been pretty interesting. I've had to reach for a lot of tools I don't use all the time and figure out things in a new way just because I'm not used to laying things out exactly on a grid just like we have to do inside of this design. Now today is the last section in this series where we'll be going over the FAQ section, and what I thought was simple at first ends up being quite a bit more complex than I thought. We're going to have to use all the tricks we learned for grid and pseudo elements, and we're going to have to dip back into the bag of subgrid as well, because in this section we're actually positioning these pseudo elements quite differently than we did on all the other sections, and it's a pretty neat little trick that I think you're going to enjoy. At first glance, this section looks pretty straightforward. We have a heading up here, we have an accordion here, and we have a couple of our pseudo elements. That's nothing we haven't done before. But when I turn on the grids and we inspect this a little bit deeper, you can see why this starts to get a little bit tricky. Let's start with this headline here. We can see that it's scooted in by 2 columns. I'll go ahead and just make this a bright red so it's easy to see. But over on the right-hand side, this heading ends on this column, and it actually has 4 columns of gap over here on the left-hand side, so it's not perfectly centered, it's kind of pushed over to the left. That's not a big deal, we've definitely learned how to do that. And we have this same thing here on the FAQs. This actually moves in by 3 columns, and then has 4 columns over on the right. Again, we've done that before, and we can tell it exactly what grid lines to live on, so that shouldn't be a huge deal. However, it's when we look at our pseudo elements that we realize we run into a little bit more of a tricky situation here. I'm going to go ahead and just change these to black so they're a little bit easier to see on the screen. And you can see I have these pseudo elements perfectly lining up with these grid lines. This pseudo element on the left, and we haven't done any on the left like this before, it perfectly lines up with the title here. So we're going to have to figure out how to get this to line up perfectly on the grid so that it lines up nicely with our headline. And this pseudo element up here, it also lands directly on a grid line, and it's going to span off the top and off the right, which is something we haven't had to tackle before. Now, I tried to go at this a lot of different ways, and I kept running into some issues until I reached for Subgrid. If we use Subgrid on these sections, we're going to be able to position these elements exactly where we want to and have all the content fall in line. This is also going to make it easier once we get down to tablet and mobile breakpoints, so we can still see our pseudo elements without really scrunching in all these details. So I know that's all a little bit just theory talk here, so let's put it into practice and see what we can do. We'll go ahead and start like we always did, just popping in a section here. Now this one had some extra padding, so again, I'm just going to use my section XL class here. Now inside of our wrapper, we want to add that grid 12 column class so we can set up our 12 column grid. And now we can think about how we want to position this headline in here. Before, we were really only concerned with where the content fell on the grid and not so much where these pseudo elements fell. But this time we need to be really particular about where these pseudo elements fall. So we need to be thinking about how many columns this spans so we can make sure to put our pseudo elements right on the end of those spans. So I want to make sure to wrap this headline in a container, and then we can attach this top right pseudo element to the container itself. So if we just go ahead and draw out a container on the screen, we know that the headline is going to start on column 3 and go to 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. But we actually need that 10th column in there because we want to attach the pseudo element to the end of this container. So I really need to push this out over here. So instead of 3 over 9, I want to set this to 3 over 10. So let's just jump back into the editor here. We'll go ahead and add that container for our headline, and we'll go into our grid layout and change this to 3 over 10, which should get us positioned exactly where we need to. Of course, we don't want our headline to span 10, we only want it to span 9 of those columns. So let's just go ahead and get our headline in here. We'll type in frequently asked questions. And I'm going to go ahead and give this our H1 class just because I know this font was quite a bit bigger. I want to make sure that's a little bit more accurate to what we had in the design. It's still not breaking to 2 lines here, but I think as we start to manipulate this, it's going to fall into place. So right now, this headline is able to fill up all the space inside this container. But if we remember, this container goes all the way to the 10th column, and the text should only go to the 9th. So we need to use Subgrid on this text itself in order to tell it to stop one column short. So inside this container, we're just going to go ahead and go to our layout and change this to a display of grid, and then we can type in Subgrid inside of our grid template columns. Now we're able to tell this headline which columns to live in, and remember, we just want it to be one short. I think the easiest way for this is to tell it how many to span. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns it should span. So let's go back into the editor here, and under grid column with our headline selected, I'm going to do span 6. Now we can see this headline isn't filling in all the space of the container because we're using Subgrid on this wrapper around it and telling this headline that it has to only fill 6 columns, even though there are 7 available columns inside of this wrapper. That way the headline stops short, but we have the edge of this over here to anchor our pseudo element to. So let's go ahead and get that pseudo element on the screen. Now we're going to be attaching it to this right here. I'm going to rename this. We're going to call this our headline wrapper. And then we'll go in here and set this to a position of relative, just like we did before, since we're going to be setting an absolutely positioned pseudo element. So we'll go into our selectors here, create a new one. We'll start with a before, scroll down to the bottom here and make sure we give it blank content. Now I'm just going to set up some of the basics in here. We know we want it to be position absolute. We know we want a 1 pixel border. I'm just going to leave it black again so we can see it easily on this screen share. And then we'll go up to our sizing. We want to set this to 100 VW just to make sure that it's always going to be big enough. Now, as far as the height, we want this to also just overflow the top of this section here. So we could use the trick to set up the calculations to set the height of this element plus the height of the padding. But really, since it's just going to overflow anyways, I'm just going to set something like 600 pixels here, which we know will be big enough to overflow this section. Obviously, that's being pushed down right now, but we can fix that by going back to our inset values here in position. We want this to be anchored to the bottom, so I'll just go ahead and put this a bottom of 0. Now we also want to make sure that it's positioned to the right, so I'm going to go ahead and do a 0 inside of our right coordinates. Now that's making this go all the way off to the left. Since we're telling it to anchor here at the bottom right, it's just filling in all of the space it can the other direction. We need to flip-flop this and push it the other way, and we can actually do that with a transform. So I'm going to go in here to Effects under Transform, and I'm going to change this Translate X to 100%. That's just going to flip this to push everything over to the right. It's still anchored by this bottom right position of our wrapper, but since it's being translated over, it's being pushed all the way over to the other side. Let's go ahead and change that color now that we know we have it in the right place. And we can see we're dealing with our overflow issue on the top, and we're actually dealing with that overflow issue on the right as well. So before we save these changes, let's go back to our section. We'll go to position, and this time we're going to set the X and the Y overflows both to clip, and that will make sure to just stop this pseudo element from expanding into the section above it or making the whole website horizontally scroll. We'll go ahead and save those changes. We'll refresh things on the front end and scroll down. Now we can see we have our frequently asked questions heading and our pseudo element over here, which is lining up perfectly on the grid where we want it to. In fact, we can go in here into the inspector. We'll go ahead and grab this wrapper and turn on our little grid helper here. And we can see our pseudo element is right here at the end of that grid line. So we know we have it positioned perfectly. Now we're going to have to repeat a lot of this stuff for the accordion where all our FAQs live. So I think before we do that, let's go ahead and think about the responsiveness of this here, and we'll have a good concept of how all this works before we go and do it again. So we'll hop back into the editor here with our section selected. I'm going to go down to our tablet breakpoint and see what we want to do. I think we have too much gap on the left now, so we can go back into this headline wrapper. Instead of telling it to go from 3/10, I think we could probably just change this to 1/10, which is going to allow it to go all the way over to the left. Now we also had that span on the headline itself. Before was at span 6, but now since we opened up 2 more columns to it, I'm just going to change this to span 8, which is going to allow it to get 1 column away from our pseudo element over here. If we go down to our mobile version and take a look at it, it is a little bit big here, so I think we need to make a few more tweaks. Instead of the 1/10 here for our headline wrapper, I think we could probably change this to 1/12, which is just going to give us a little bit more space. Our pseudo element's still going to show up a bit here, but it's going to give us a little bit more room for this headline. Since we opened up 2 more columns here, we could try span 10, and I don't think that puts it too close to the pseudo element, and there's not any contrast issues there anyways, so I think that works pretty good. Let's go ahead and save those changes. We'll get rid of this little grid helper here and refresh things on the front end. Here on desktop, we're looking good. When we break down to tablet, now the headline goes all the way over to the left, which still looks fine. And then as we get down to our mobile version here, we can see our frequently asked questions still has plenty of room to live here with the pseudo element next to it. So I think we've done a good job on making this nice and responsive. So I guess now the next thing to do is turn our attention to those FAQ accordions. Now we need to think about the same things here, where this container is going to live so we can attach the pseudo element to, and then where these actual accordions are going to live inside the grid as well. We'll go ahead and add another wrapper with our 12 column class, and then we'll start setting the position of everything. So let's jump back into the editor here. Inside of our section, we'll get back to our desktop view. I'll just add another container and we'll add our 2 classes to it. The first is that wrapper class, and then the second one is that grid 12 column class. Now it is pushed up against our headline here, so let's go ahead and give it that 80 pixels of row gap that we've been doing on the rest of the site. So let's start counting our columns here. We know we want this pseudo element to end up on 1, 2, 3. So we know we want this box to start on the 3rd column here. And then the box can end at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's get a container on here that starts on 3 and ends on 9. Inside of this, we'll add our container. We'll go to our layout, and under grid column, we'll do 3/9. This should get us positioned to where the pseudo element can land perfectly with that headline above it, and then our FAQs can fit in here inside of it. Now for those FAQs, I do want to go ahead and wrap those in a container, and to get those positioned exactly where we want to, we're going to have to use Subgrid again. So we're getting to a point here where it's hard to talk about all these things without renaming them. So we're just going to call this wrapper. We know that this will be our FAQ wrapper. And for now, let's just call this grid placement, just because we know this is the wrapper we're using to place everything on the grid. Now on that grid placement wrapper, let's go ahead and change that to grid and use Subgrid again. And then we can go to our FAQ wrapper and tell it to start on 2. Since this is the first column in it, we want it to start 1 column over, and then we can go ahead and do our count. So we know this whole container starts here on 1. We're going to have this start on 2 and span all the way through 9. So let's go back in here into our layout, and under that grid column, we're going to do 2/9, which should position this right in the center here. So we have 1 column gap in between it, and then this is able to fill all the rest of that available space inside of our grid placement wrapper. Let's go ahead and get our accordion in here. So I'm just going to search for a GenerateBlocks accordion. Now by default, this comes with a few things that I don't love, like a border around the entire item here, and then the button or the trigger that opens up our toggle. It goes to a bold font when we're on the current one. I'm just going to make sure that that's set to normal. So let's just go ahead and paste some of this information in here. I'll grab this headline. We'll copy that and paste it into the title. And then we'll grab the text underneath it, copy that, and paste that into this accordion content. Now the headline here needs to be a little bit bigger just for consistency's sake. I'm going to use that P large class we did before. Make sure to get rid of any bottom margin on it. And I don't really like the way this looks so unbalanced, so I'm going to use the balance class from my child's theme. If I just type in balance here, this is going to balance these headlines by using text wrap balance. This is just a little utility class I have set up, and if you want to learn more about that, I'll make sure to link to that full video I did on my starter site. Now we also have this icon for the accordion here. Right now it's a caret. In my design I use the plus and minus sign, so I'm just going to go ahead and switch those out. And now we can go to our accordion item and just duplicate this a few more times. So we have 4 or 5 different accordion items in here. I do want to put some gap in between them. So I'll just go to my accordion here. We're going to change this to a display of grid. Then I'll give it maybe 40 or 60 pixels of gap. I think 40 looks pretty good. So let me just swap out that content real quick. Okay, so now that I got all those different accordion items in there, we can turn our attention to that pseudo element. I'm going to go back to our grid placement class here since that's what we want to attach the pseudo element to. We'll go down to position and we'll set this to relative. and then we can go in here and start working on our pseudo element. Go in here and choose the before. Again, it gets a bit repetitive. We'll add blank content in here. We'll change this to a position of absolute. On this one, we know we're going to want to set the top and bottom insets to 0. That's just going to make sure it spans the entire height of this. And then we can go ahead and give this a 1 pixel border. Again, we need to go up to the size, and I'm going to do 100 VW just to make sure it always spans perfectly off the screen. And here we're going to have to use that transform trick again in order to get this positioned correctly. Now, because we're anchoring it at the top left, it's just filling everything out down and to the right, and we need it to go the opposite here. So we'll go into our effects under the transform, and under the translate X, I'm going to do a negative 100%, which will just push this over to the left. Now we still have that anchor point here, and our pseudo element is lining up perfectly on this grid, which is exactly what we wanted. So let's go ahead and change that border color, get it back to the dark beige that we had before, and let's go take a look at how this is working on the front end. I'll refresh here and we'll get back to our desktop breakpoint. And now we can see the pseudo element lines up perfectly. It also stretches to fit depending on how these accordions are opened and closed, which I like that. And this one's positioned exactly where we wanted it over here. So let's go ahead and scrunch this in. We'll get down to something like our tablet breakpoint. I think at this point, these FAQ items can span further across the screen, and we're gonna need it to do that once we get down here to mobile as well. We might wanna tighten this up a bit and make sure that these have plenty of room. So now that we kind of have an idea of what we want, so let's go here to our grid placement wrapper. Right now we have it set to only span 3/9, but when we go onto tablet, I want to give that more space here. So we'll keep it at 3, but let's change this to 12 just to give it a little bit more room here. We could go all the way to 13, which would put us at the end of our content, but I think leaving a little bit of gap here helps make this look a little bit more balanced. We'll go down here to our mobile breakpoint, and we'll see that this is really getting pretty cramped. I think we need to push it over to the left more, and maybe we go all the way to the end. So let's try something like 2/13, which will just give us a little bit more room here. We just need to make sure to go in that FAQ wrapper now that we're able to span a little bit more width. And we'll go here over to 2/-1, which will just allow it to fill in as much space as it can here with that -1 trick. Let's go ahead and save those changes. And now we'll refresh on the front end here and scroll down. And I think this works pretty well on mobile. When we get here to our tablet breakpoint, now we have enough room for these. They're not looking too squished. And of course, on desktop, they look pretty good as well. I'll leave the links to all the videos inside this series down in the video description below. Hopefully you enjoyed following along and got to learn a few new tricks alongside me. If you did enjoy this series, I would really appreciate a thumbs up on this video. And if you want to make sure to see what I got coming up next, then hit subscribe and we'll see you then.